All right, welcome fifth graders. Today is the last lesson of the chapter. This is lesson 11.11. We're going to find volume of composed figures, which are two rectangular prisms stuck together. And we're going to break them apart into two different figures, and then we're going to find the volume of each, and we're going to add it together. So let's go ahead and get started. The first figure here, we're going to cut straight across into two rectangular prisms. Here in the bottom left, they have a green rectangular prism and a blue rectangular prism. And on every single one of them, we need to find a length, a width, and a height. So we're looking for a line that goes straight across. We're looking for the diagonal that goes back. And then we're looking for a line that goes up and down. So if we look at this first figure, the blue figure, we have a length that goes straight across, the width that goes back, and the height that goes here. We know that the length is 10, the width is 4, and the height for this line is the same as this one, which is 2 inches. So our length is 10, our width is 4, and our height is 2. So we're going to take 10 times 4, and then, which is 40, and then take it times 2, which gives us a volume of 80 inches cubed. So the blue rectangular prism is 80 inches cubed. Now we look at the green one. We'll scroll back up here so we can look at this. Again, we need a length, a width, and a height. Length, a width, and a height. The length here is 2 inches. The width, we don't know. So we have to look around the rectangular prism for other lengths that are the same. This length is the same as that. This length is the same as the width here. And so is that one. So because this width here is 4, this line here that runs the same direction is also 4. So our width here is going to be 4 inches. Now for the height, this whole distance is 6 inches. But because we cut it off right here, we cannot use the 6 inches. So we have to look around, and this height is 2, so is that height, and so is that. So if the bottom is 2 inches and the whole thing is 6 inches, then we would do 6 minus the 2, and we would get 4. This height plus this height equals our 6 inches. So the height is 4 inches. So our length is 2, our width is 4, and our height is also 4. So we're going to take 4 times 2, which is 8, times 4, which is 32, and we know that this figure has a volume of 32 inches cubed. Now that we know both volumes, we're just going to add them together. 32 inches cubed plus 80 inches cubed is 112 inches cubed. Now down here at the bottom it says, what is another way you could have divided the composite figures into two rectangular prisms? If we go back up top here, we could have also cut this rectangular prism up and down. And we could cut it right here into two rectangular prisms that way. And again, we need a length, a width, and a height. So on this one, the length is 2. The width is still 4 inches. This line is the same all the way across. So this is 4 inches. And then the height is the entire thing here, which is 6 inches. So we would go 6 times 4 times 2. 6 times 4 is 24. Times 2 is 48. For the other figure, we'll change it and make it green. we're going to go length times width times height. The width is 4 and the height is 2, but because we cut this, we cannot use the full 10 inches because 10 inches is from this end to this end. Because this width here is 2 inches, 2 plus 8 would give us our 10 inches. So this side has to be 8 inches long. So now we're going to take 8 times 4 times 2. 8 times 4 is 32. 32 times 2 is 64. So this piece is 64 inches cubed. This one is 48 inches cubed. Add them together, and again, we add this up, we would get 112 inches cubed. So there is different ways that you can cut the rectangular prisms into two smaller rectangular prisms. You can cut them up and down, or you can cut it from side to side. You just cannot cut it diagonally. If we turn to the next page, we're going to skip this top section. We're both here. And we're going to go ahead and go down to the bottom one. On the bottom rectangular prism, now we have 3 pieces put together. So we've cut it into 3 rectangular prisms. Again, we need a length, a width, and a height for each one of those rectangular prisms in order to solve. So we'll start on the left, and we need, again, a length, a width, and the height. So we need those 3 measurements. We need straight across, we need a diagonal going back, and we need the up and down measurement. Well, we know the height is 4. And this line is the same as this line that runs in the back. Now, it's partly cut off, so you can't see it very well. So it is 3 feet. So we're going to call that front length 3 feet. Now we're looking at the width. And this line here, there is no measurement for. So we need to look around. Well, this line is the same as that line, which is the same as this line, which is the same as this one, and that one. All of those widths are exactly the same, and they are all 5 feet. So our width here is 5 feet. So we're going to take 3 times 4 times 5 to find the volume of the first rectangular prism. We're going to do 4 times 5 first, because that's going to give us 20, and then take 20 times 3, which gives us a volume of 60 cubic feet. And I'm going to go ahead and write 60 cubic feet here and circle it. So we wrote a 60 in there telling us that's the volume of the first rectangular prism. Now I'm going to change colors here. We'll use green for the middle rectangular prism. We again need a length, a width, which is going back, and a height. So we need those 3 measurements, side to side, up and down, and the diagonal going back. The length across is the same as this top line. So this line here is 5 feet, because that side right there is 5 feet, and so is the front. So we know the length is going to be 5 feet. The width, this line going back, is the same all the way across. It was the same as that one, which is the same as this one. So the width going back is also 5 feet. So I have a length, I have the width, I just need the height up and down. Well, there is no height in the middle here, and there's no other lines, around that line. So we have to look outside here, and we see that from the bottom to the top of this figure is 8 feet. And that's exactly how long that line is here. So that is 8 feet. From the bottom to the top is 8 feet. So for that figure, we have a length of 5, a height of 8, and a width of 5. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 times the other 5 is 200. So the middle rectangular prism is 200 cubic feet. 200 cubic feet. Again, length times width times height. Now we're moving on to the last rectangular prism here. Again, we need a length, a width, and a height. Length, width, and height. We know that the height of this line is 2 feet, so that means the height all the way around is going to be 2 feet, and we're going to use that 2 right there. The width is still 5 feet. Okay, it's been 5 feet on each one of those, and that's the measurement. So we are looking for that length right here. And what we know is that from this side all the way across is 12 feet. And we have 3 feet. And then the middle section is 5 feet. So 3 plus 5 gives us 8. So this side here has to be 4 feet. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 4 gives us our 12 feet. So you have to use maybe some subtraction, and we could have gone 8 or 12 minus these two, 8, or would be 8, and get 4 feet left. So this side is 4 feet. So we're going to do 4 times 5 times 2, which is 40 cubic feet. The last rectangular prism is 40 feet. You do have to search around a little bit and maybe use some investigating or detective work there to figure out what is a missing length there for your length, width, and height. Now that we have all 3 figures, we're going to go ahead and add those up. We're going to take 60, and I'm going to do 60 and 40 to get 100, and then we're going to add 200, 100, and 200 gives us a volume of 300 cubic feet. The volume of that entire composite figure is 300 cubic feet. On to the next page. They already have this first figure here cut for us. So we're going to go ahead and continue with that cut. It's cut off right here. So we know right away that we're not going to be able to use 5 in our calculations. Now 5 is going to help us maybe figure out the height of some of those figures, but we're not going to do any multiplying by 5 because that line is cut. If we look across the bottom, we have a length, we have a width, and we have the height. So we're going to take 8 times 4 times 2. 8 times 4 is 32, times 2 is 64. So the bottom figure has a volume of 64, and we're going to write that in. The second figure, we are again looking for length, width, and height. Well, the length is easy because it tells us it's 2 inches. But the width here is missing. So again, we need to look around for a line that runs diagonal from the front of the figure to the back. That line is also the same as that one, which is the same as this one, which is the same as that one. They're all the same width, and it's 4 inches. So the width is 4 inches. Now the height, we have to do a little bit of work here. We know that the entire top to bottom is 5 inches. The bottom height is 2 inches because it says right here. So if the bottom is 2 inches and the whole thing is 5 inches, 2 plus 3 gives us 5. So that would mean the height of the top figure has to be 3 inches. That gives us length of 2, a width of 4, and then the height of 3. 2 times 4 is 8, times 3 is 24. So the volume of this figure is 24. When we add those two numbers together, 64 and 24, we get 88. And because we're talking volume, it's inches cubed. Number 2, we can cut off this small piece right here. And again, we're looking for a length, a width, and a height. So we're looking for a line that runs side to side, diagonal towards the back, and then a line up and down, length, width, and height. So if we look in the back, we have our line that runs side to side, 7 inches. We have our 7 centimeters. The diagonal is 6 centimeters. And the line that runs up and down is 1 centimeter. So we're going to take 7 times 6 times 1, and we get 42 centimeters. Now we're looking at the front rectangular prism. Again, we need length, width, and height. The length is 3 centimeters. The width is the same as this line, which they're telling us is 2 centimeters, but we don't have the height. So we have to kind of look around to see this same measurement. And that is 1 centimeter. So the height is 1 centimeter. So we're going to take 3 times 2 times 1, and that gives us 6 centimeters. 42 centimeters plus 6 centimeters gives us 48 centimeters cubed. Now looking at number 3, again we can cut that figure off right here and make 2 smaller rectangular prisms. We're looking for a length, a width, and a height. We have all 3 of those measurements. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. On the smaller one, we have a length, we have a width, but we're missing the height. So we have to look around for this measurement. Well, if we keep looking around, the height is the same all the way across, and it's 2 feet. So our length times our width is 8, times our height is 16. The volume of this figure is 16 feet cubed. 36 plus 16 gives you 52. And because we're still talking volume, it's 52 feet cubed. If you look at this figure here, number 4, the 2 legs are 2 separate rectangular prisms. So you're going to have to cut this one off here and cut this one off here. So we have 3 separate rectangular prisms. So we'll start with the larger one up top. We're going to go length times width times height. And we're missing that measurement right there. But what we do know is that this entire height is 6 centimeters. The height of the smaller leg is 4 centimeters. So if we subtract those two, we know the height of the smaller rectangular prism is 2 centimeters. So length times width times height, 10 times 3 times 2 is going to give us a volume of 60 centimeters cubed. Next, we'll look at this larger leg here, and again we need length, width, and height. The length would be 2 centimeters. The height is the same here as it is here, so it's 4 centimeters. And our width, we have to look around. Well, this line again is the same as the width all the way around, so it is 3 centimeters. So we're going to take 4 times 2, which is 8, times the 3 for the width, and we're going to get 24 centimeters. Now we have the last smaller leg. Again, we're going to take length times width times height. We're missing a little bit of that leg in the back because of the angle here, but the height is going to be 3 centimeters. Now I know that back looks a little smaller, but it's the angle that that shape is at. So our height is 3, our length is 2, and again we have to find the width. Well, the width is going to be the same all the way around. So the width is 3 centimeters. 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18. The smaller leg has a volume of 18 cubic centimeters. Now we just simply add all three together. 60 plus 18 plus 24 gives you 102 centimeters cubed. We're going to kind of skip this part here, and we're just going to find the volume of the platform here. So we're just going to find the volume. If we cut this figure off, we're going to take length times width times height of the smaller one, and then up top we're going to go length, which is the same as here, times width times the height. Now remember, the length, or the width, excuse me, is the same here as it is here. So we're going to have 4 for the length, or for the width. So we're going to take 3 times 4 times 2. On the bottom figure, we're going to go 9 times 4 for the height. It's the same as it is over here. So that is also 2. 9 times 4 times 2. Go ahead and press pause and find the volume of each of those figures, and then go ahead and add it together to find the total volume. All right. Now that we've calculated this, 9 times 4 times 2 is 72. 3 times 4 times 2, we're not really using this 3 here. 3 times 4 times 2 gives us 24. So total, we should have 96 cubic feet. On the last one, if we were solving the volume here, it does say Patty added the values of the expressions 2 times 3 times 11 and 2 times 3 times 10 to find the volume of the composite figure. She's wrong because she's just multiplying all of them around. So we need to find the correct volume here. You can cut it either up and down, or we can cut it straight across. We're going to go ahead and cut this figure straight across this way because this bottom figure has a length, a width, and a height already for us. And then the top figure also has a length, a width, and we can find the height by looking at this bottom figure here. So, length times width, 8 times 3 is 24, times the height of 2, which is 48. The top figure, we have to find the height, which is the same all the way around, which is 2 centimeters. So we go 3 times 2, which is 6, times 10, which is 60. That gives us a total of 108 centimeters cubed. If we go ahead and turn to our homework, you will complete all of these rectangular prisms and find the volume of those composed figures. On the back, do the same exact thing. Again, you need to find a length, a width, and a height. On number 2, you're just going to find the volume of both of those figures and then add them together. Number 3, Jesse wants to build a wooden chest with a volume of 8,100 cubic inches. The length is 30 inches. The width is 15. We need to find the height. How tall is it? So remember, V equals length times width times height. We know that the volume is 8,100. The length is 30. The width is 15. And we don't know what the height is. So you're going to multiply 30 times 15 and then take 8,100 divided by that number. So multiply them together and then divide 8,100 by that in order to find the height. Number 4, you're finding the volume. What's the length times the width times the height? And that will tell you what the volume of that figure is. Number 5, Adrian's recipe for cranberry relish calls for 1 3/4 cups of sugar. He wants to use half of that amount. Okay, half of that amount. How much sugar should he use? If he wants half of that, you're going to multiply 1 3/4 times 1/2. Don't forget to turn your 1 3/4 into an improper fraction first before you multiply. Number 6, Joanna has a board that is 6 feet long. She cuts it into pieces that are each 1/4 foot long. Write an equation that represents the number of pieces she will cut. So you need to figure out what do you use, or what do you do with 6 1/4 in order to get your answer. We're going to go ahead and let n represent the amount of, or the number of pieces that she will cut. So it will be equals n. What do you do to 6 1/4 in order to figure that answer out? That ends today's lesson. Great job, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.